covering the Eagles. He made his mark at NBC Sports, breaking stories, earning the players' trust, and bringing the best NFL fans in sports closer to your Philadelphia Eagles that you love. Known for his insight, authenticity, and deep roots in the Eagles community, let's give a big Philadelphia Ben Salem welcome for Derrick Gunn! Was drafted by the Eagles in the 8th round of the 1986 NFL Draft. He played 8 seasons here in Philly. Throughout his career, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler. He finished his storied career by winning Super Bowl 33 with the Denver Broncos. Everyone, let's give a welcome to Seth Joyner! Our next guest was drafted by the Eagles in the 3rd round of the 1998 NFL Draft. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro in 2000 and 2001. During his 3 different stints with the Birds as a linebacker, fans knew him as the Axeman. Please welcome Jeremiah Trotter! And finally, our final guest was a 1st-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 1982 NFL Draft. He was a 5-time Pro Bowler and led the NFL in receiving yards in 1983 with 1,409 yards. You now know him as the voice of the Eagles alongside Merrill Reese on 94 WIP. Give a round of applause for Mike Quick! All right, let's get it started. Here's Sam. Take it away.
Okay, guys, we have a lot in store for tonight, but first, give a round of applause for Mark because he did a great job with that. Okay, hello, my panel. So we have a couple questions at the end that will kind of really get a panelist discussion going. Hi, Seth. But just to start it off, since there are so many, we're going to kind of just individually hit it. So D-Gun, the trade deadline just passed. How do you grade the acquisitions that they made, and what do you wish that they did?
Well, on the surface, I'd have to give them a B+. I love the Jalen Phillips move. I think he's going to add significant prowess to the edge rushing situation that has been lacking. I'm still scratching my head about the Jair Alexander move. I've watched his career closely, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in, or if he fits in. I like the Michael Carter move because he can play both nickel and safety as well. And so I can't wait to see how Vic Fangio integrates them into a system.
I love it. Okay, Trot, this one's for you. One of the biggest storylines this season has been the A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts relationship. You know all too well a wide receiver and quarterback bickering back and forth, right? How do you think this compares to McNabb and T.O., and what does that affect, or how does that affect our locker room?
How did I get this question? This on?
Yeah, there you go. Just hold it.
How did I get this question?
Better you than me.
No, I don't think you're talking about 4 different personalities, right? The situation with T.O. and Donovan, it just got way out of control. I mean, it spilled over in the locker room, and you know, some people say the locker room was divided. The stuff AJ's going through me, and this is surface stuff. And I think Jalen, I love the way he's handling it. He's just all about business, just focuses on the team and what's best for the team. And I'm sure that they'll get it worked out. He's just a competitor. He wants the ball. Quick can tell you, any great receiver wants the ball.
Yeah.
I'm sure Quick had some closed door meetings with his quarterback, offensive coordinator, you know. So yeah, that's all it is.
This one's for whoever wants to answer it up here. We brought up T.O. Could you imagine the T.O. situation if he would have had social media, and how would that have escalated everything?
No.
Would have been dangerous?
That's probably why they invented social media.
Get inside the minds more. Okay, Seth, Green Bay had a huge upset last week. Does that kind of play into this being a trap game for Philadelphia?
I think last week was the trap game. I think that they were looking forward to the Eagles game, realizing, you know, how big of a game that would be. So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, they're at home again. The Eagles will be on the road. It's going to be a fever pitch situation, especially coming off of a loss that they feel like and everybody expected for them to win. Now all of a sudden, you know, you've got, you know, the conference leader. You coming in on a Monday night in front of the world. So the Eagles have got to be prepared to take, you know, the first shot. The intensity is going to be extremely high, and they've got to be ready to respond to that intensity. Or it's just going to ramp up, the crowd's going to get into it, and it's going to be a battle down, you know, to the wire.
Mike, I want you to answer this first, but then I want everybody else to kind of pitch in on this one. Kevin Patullo, we've really seen him improve throughout the season to this point. How would you grade him overall, and then what have you seen that you really liked that he's improved on?
So I just believe that it's very difficult to have the job that he has as a first-time play caller in the National Football League. So it doesn't matter how you start. Everyone's going to question almost every move that you make. But I'm happy to see what I feel is growth in Kevin Patullo and the way that he's calling plays. After 8 weeks, after 6 weeks even, you should understand your personnel better. You should understand strengths and weaknesses, and even the strengths and weaknesses of the team this year, because it's different from last year's team. So I think he's getting to the point where he understands situations better, personnel better, and how to better utilize everybody with their strengths and getting the best out of what he has. Making the move to getting the quarterback on the center, getting a six-man offensive line at time when you add Fred Johnson to the offensive line. All of these things, I think, are part of the growth of Kevin Patullo, and even the play calling itself. I do see growth in that. His manner of attacking defenses and making sure that he's taking advantage of weaknesses of the different defenses that they face each week.
Well, anyone can tell you that it's tough. Like, I'm gonna piggyback off what Mike said, that your first year calling plays, right? It's different being a coach, but when you're the guy and you're calling plays and everyone's looking at you, man, it's a different animal, right? Not only that, it's tough as an offense to kind of gel. I know you have the off season, the mini camps and training camps, but if you remember last year, before we won the Super Bowl, the offense struggled in the beginning of the season. And as they caught their stride, they just continue to get better and better and better. Even on the defense side of the ball, right? That was Fangio's first year, right? He keeps coming in, he had a lot of history being a great coach, but the defense struggled early on. At some point, they started to gel, they caught their stride, and I think that's where we are as an offense. They're starting to gel, and they're going to continue to get better as he get accustomed to the players, and the players get accustomed to the field of offense.
Seth, how much blame did you put on Patullo for some of those offensive struggles, and how much were on Jalen and some of the guys?
I think it's fair to go 50-50, but I think, you know, a lot of times it's hard to execute when you're at a deficit. So I kind of lean towards putting a little more on the coaching staff because, you know, these guys get paid to spend 15, 16 hours a day doing this, devising game plans, devising plays, creating plays off of, you know, running plays or passing plays, you know, to keep defenses off balance. But when I watched, you know, him call plays through the first 6 games of the season, it looked like it was just random. You know, it didn't look like it had any kind of rhyme or reason to it. Like if they had success with something, they didn't flip the formation and run it again the other way. They just abandoned it and went to a whole nother set, a whole nother formation. As a defensive player, the way that I studied the game, you know, he made it easy for me as a defensive player to look at what he was calling and take advantage of it. Now, you know, listen, you guys know me, I can be critical, but I also give a lot of credit where credit is due too. And I feel like what he's done is he's kind of transformed the way he looks at the game because he's calling plays that are coordinated. If they have a running play, then they've got 2 plays off of that running play. If they've got a successful pass play, they've got a 2 successful run plays off that same formation. Now as a defender, you have me guessing. I'm trying to figure out by down and distance and where we are on the field, what it is that you might be calling. See, because as a defender, I'm trying to anticipate what you're gonna run and what you're gonna do so that I'm a step ahead or at least even with you. But if I'm a step behind, then I'm beat. So I give him a lot of credit for making changes, like Quick said, putting Jalen under center. then you begin to have some success running the football. That plays in the play action pass after you got the quarterback under center. Because when that quarterback turns his back and sticks the ball out, as a defender, I got to honor the fact that he's sticking that ball out, especially if they're running the ball with any kind of success. So I give him a lot of credit for making the transformation in a short period of time. I get the sense that it was always there. He just had to find his comfortability.
And Gunn, real quick, we did see Saquon start to have some of those long runs and success before the bye. Do you anticipate that being easier as we go into this season, or do you think he's going to hit the stall again?
I don't know about easier, but I think there should be a bigger measure of consistency compared to the first amount of games we saw. We knew coming into this season that teams would overload the line of scrimmage to take away that run game. And Seth will tell you on the show that he and I do, the first show, I said, Saquon would be lucky to get 1,300 yards rushing this season, which is still an outstanding season for a lot of running backs, but he's going to have to earn it a lot more. But you saw that breakout game against the Giants, and you saw the blocking scheme shift back to what we were accustomed to seeing in 2024. Now, moving forward, he's got some interesting defensive schemes he's going to have to play. Green Bay's usually tough against the run. Detroit's a physical team. Then you still have to go to Buffalo and play that team as well. So it's going to be interesting. But if they have found that formula right now to regain that measure of success they had in 2024, I feel pretty good about the consistency being up here instead of it being that proverbial roller coaster which we endured up until that last game.
Sam, I'll take it a step further because, you know, when I watched film with them, it looked like they knew that they needed to make some changes from last year because everybody else was going to adjust to them. And they had some blocking schemes that really made me scratch my head. And I talked about it in one of my podcasts that they need to get back to in the four-man front. The guards, the tackles, those two defensive tackles, they have to be double teamed, and you got to work up to the second level and get the linebackers instead of reaching for guys that are one or two gaps over. In the last 2 weeks, we started to see a little bit of that. Some things you have to change. Other things, you know, they're just not going to be broke in the game. Like a double team on a 1 or 2 technique, you don't have to worry about that ever needing to change because the linebacker and the tackle still have to play it the right way no matter what year you're in. Those tenets of the game never change.
Talking to my two defensive guys in the middle, so you talk about that offensive blocking and stuff. Coming into Monday, Micah Parsons obviously is familiar with this offensive line for the Eagles. How do you guys anticipate going against this Eagles offensive line that has struggled? And then talk about the matchup with him and Lane Johnson, because Lane Johnson kind of seems to humble him when they do play.
Trotter, the only time I'm worried about Micah on Monday night is when they move him down inside. If he's on the edges, I'm not worried about Micah. I'm really not, because Lane has owned it, and Jordan has done a pretty decent job against him, and I think he knows what he's going to face. But when they move him down inside and start running games against our guards, and if Cam Jurgens isn't playing and he lines up over on Tyler's thing, now I'm going to be a little bit worried.
Yeah, the Eagles have done a great job in the past of neutralizing him. We got two of the best tackles in the league. Lane Johnson is, first ballot Hall of Famer. So, I don't think he's going to be on Lane too much. If I'm a D coordinator, I'm going to put him on the other side, obviously, so I can try to take advantage of. You don't want to go against that best guy, right? And we just got to run the football at him. Make him play the run, tire him out, wear him down a little bit so he don't have all that energy on third down.
That's the key.
And then stay out of those third and longs.
Yeah. The key is winning on first down so that Michael Parsons is not in a third and obvious passing situations where they're going to move him around. They'll try and find the weakest link on your offensive line, and they're going to line up Michael Parsons right there. You're going to have to shift your protection to him to try and hold him off of your quarterback, but they understand that that's their best chance of winning, moving Parsons around. Lane will probably see him. Lane's seen him before. Lane can handle him. As Seth said, on the other side, Joyner can handle him. The inside three, that's where you would have concern, but then you just move the protection to him. Or these guys outweigh Michael Parsons by 60 pounds, 70 pounds in some cases. You run the football right at him. When they get hands on him, they're going to be able to move him around and do whatever they want to do. But it's important that they run the football right at Parsons, but then stay out of those third and obvious passing situations. They have to be better on first and second down.
Mike, you know what?
Don't run away from it.
No.
Run straight at it.
You know what? And to that point, last week we saw the RPO where Jalen throws that ball to Dallas Goedert.
Yes.
For the touchdown. That's a play that's frustrated the hell out of Micah in the pass.
Correct.
Where you run pass option at him, and that tight end comes in motion, and now he's in conflict because he don't know whether to hit the tight end, whether to take the quarterback, because Jalen can take off and run. Put him in situations that makes him think, where instead of him just reacting, because he's fast, he's quick, he's explosive, and you want to slow his thought process down.
Right, and when he blitzes and you throw that ball right behind his head to your tight end for a big play, then you put him in a spin cycle. He starts to wonder what the hell's coming next.
Well, you heard Micah himself talking about it after they lost to Carolina, about how Carolina schemed him. Instead of the quarterback going 1-2-3 throw, it was 1-2. Bryce Young was 1-2 throw.
Right.
Basically, it neutralizes straight ahead speed. So, as we know, this being a copycat league, I don't see that as a significant part of the Eagles' passing game, because the Eagles' passing game usually is a little bit more elongated. But you could use some of that to utilize his straight ahead speed and take him out of the game altogether.
He doesn't want to play there anyway. He really wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Real talk. Mike Parsons wants to. Well, he wants to be in Philadelphia.
He wants to be wherever they're going to pay him $47 million a year.
Well, I go
Who
there
doesn't?
too.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
Lord,
47.
47, Lord.
I hate Green Bay, but I would go there for that.
Fair. I don't know anybody that wouldn't. Gunn, we will see BG this week. I know you guys have a special relationship. Did it shock you at all that he was actually coming back to play again this year?
Yeah, it did, because when I would talk to him during the offseason, he was content in what he was doing in terms of family, dabbling in the media with the NFL Network, and also with the All Philly Sports. So as difficult as it was for him to get being a gladiator out of his system, he was starting to make that transition. And then he told me about how he gave him a call before the season started, and he basically said, "Nah, I don't know about that." And then, of course, when Zadarius Smith retired, how he calls him again, he begins to ramp up his workouts and says, "I got to try this." And I'm interested in seeing exactly. I said, "Can you do this?" He says, "I think I can." But, he's 37 years old now. He's not 27, he's 37. But for a lot of guys, and I think these guys can attest to this, when you spend the bulk of your life being a football player, high school, college, and pros, it's that camaraderie. It's that ability to get out there and compete man against man to see who the better man is, who the better team is. And all of a sudden you wake up and you're in the mid to late 30s and your body's not responding like it used to, and you're at a point where the mind says go and the body says no. Some players, you look at like a Calais Campbell, he's 38, 39, still out there trying to play. Quarterbacks in their early 40s now, still playing the game. It's difficult for some players to get that competitive juice out of their system. And as Brandon told me, if this team was like 1 for the season, probably wouldn't have done it. But because they have an opportunity, a serious legitimate opportunity of getting back to the Super Bowl again, he said, why not? He goes, it's basically free money for him. So why not come back out there and try it again?
Do you guys think he's going to have a bigger impact on the field, or more so on the sidelines, just being that leadership role?
Oh,
I think both. Because when he got hurt, I think it was in Dallas, right?
Rams game.
When he got hurt, he was having a great season, I thought. And I'm not 100% sure he was really ready to retire, right? But when you can walk into the sunset after the Super Bowl, but I think he's definitely going to help us out a lot, because I tell everybody, nobody sets the edge like Brandon Graham. When he can set the edge, man, with the best of them, and that's what you need. You need a guy that can set the edge, and he's developed a really good pass rush over his career. So I believe he's going to be very productive.
Sam, I didn't want to see him come back. I really did not want to see BG come back.
Why? Do you think it'll hurt his legacy? Or?
I just love the story as it was written initially. Like, hey, I won the Super Bowl. I'm going to ride off. I'm going to go take the kids to school and do all the things that young dads do. And I was hoping for that for him. I know what this job takes out of you. I know how demanding the job is, and I was so happy with the celebration of BG that we all were having after the season and all summer long. And you know, we've all been through the transition, and it's difficult to let it go. You mentioned playing in college, high school, little league. Most of us started when we were like 8, 9 years old, like really young. So it's hard to turn that off. Like every year of your life, that's what you've done. So I get it. I get having another opportunity to do it.
I wanted to see him come back.
I did not want to see.
I talked to him at the parade. I said, bro, you got something left in the tank.
You're right.
Now,
he does.
if he didn't have anything left in the tank, hey, bro, you know, ride off in the sunset.
Yeah, he's got a little left. Yes.
Just a little.
Just a little. Listen, you can't play him more than 15 plays a game.
No.
And with that, he should be.
That's all you need.
He should have an impact.
He's a rotation guy.
20, 25 plays.
That's a push him to the limit.
Listen, 20, 25 plays. Listen,
25, father time.
So there's two things here. There's two things. Okay, you mentioned the story. The last game I ever played was a Super Bowl, and
You got bad feet though.
before I made the decision to retire, I actually worked out for the Rams, and Dick Vermeil was the head coach. They wanted to sign me, but they wanted me to come in and back up all 3 positions. And I felt like if I couldn't compete anymore, then it was time for me to walk away from the game. Well, they went on and won the Super Bowl that year. I would have had two rings. So that's a regret. Then in March last year, I did a one-on-one, the sports talk show with Brandon. And I asked him, I said, hey, listen, I'm not trying to break any news or anything. I said, but I seen you play, man. I said, before you got injured, you were having arguably your best year. Maybe not your best statistical year, but the best year of me watching you play football in Philadelphia, you were having it this year. I'm like, so, you can't walk away. And he kind of tap danced around it. He didn't want to tell me anything. And then he retired a week after that. But I knew he had something left in the tank, And I called him after he made the decision to come back. I was like, man, you just couldn't stay away, couldn't you? I knew you couldn't stay away.
I don't think you can put enough value on not just him as a player, but his leadership qualities in terms of mentoring young players. I think that's the one significant thing this defense overall has been missing, is a definitive leader, a big brother, a father figure you could go to. And I think he provides that. He provides that levity. He's a trash talker, but he's not an offensive trash talker like a lot of players are.
Just the energy.
Just
that
the
he
energy,
brings
yes.
To practice.
Yes.
On the sideline,
Yes.
man. You need that.
Showing these young guys how to do it.
I think that that's the thing that Howard realized, that that's the one area that he made a mistake in. Because when some of the guys that left, you had a leadership for it. Like if you got BG, if BG's on the field in week 1, Jalen Carter ain't getting kicked out of that game. Because BG's gonna
That
be
is
like,
correct.
man, get your behind back
Yep.
over here.
That's correct.
Get over here. You understand what I'm saying?
It happened so fast, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the actual incident happened fast, but that conversation was going on for quite some time. We were all sitting there watching it. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he saying? Oh my God, no, he didn't just do that. Boom, it was over. But I think that they know they need that leadership. They're missing that leadership in the locker room. And I'm going to go so far as to say that his leadership is going to be a bigger deal than his actual production on the field, especially when you begin to look at, okay, they're going to get Nolan Smith back. Okay, they just signed this Phillips kid. Okay, so maybe you're right. Maybe he only has to play like 15 plays a game, but his leadership, his mentorship, and what he gives to those young players, his ability to speak into their existence during a game, I think that that's going to be more valuable than anything else.
You are exactly right. Now you're touching on the real value of BG. Yeah, I think he still has some in the tank, but the real value is his ability to not always with what he says, but the way he conducts himself to show these young guys how to be a real pro, because the guy is the consummate pro.
Not only that, but if you want to gain longevity with his organization, Jeffrey Lurie is big on faces of the community. He's a big community guy as well, and Brandon Graham, has been one of the significant poster childs through his career of being a face in the community. And that's also teaching these young guys, you want to stay in one place and not hop around as much. First of all, you have to be productive. Number two, stay out of trouble. And number three, be accessible. Be accessible to people. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Brandon would walk out of the locker room on that first day of training camp and would walk up and down the aisles, shaking everybody's hands in the media, whether he knew him or not, but he would talk to him like he'd known him for 20 years.
He'll come in, he'll walk in here, and these people think that I've known him all my life. Because he's just that warm. He's just that kind of guy.
See, I think a lot of players miss out on the fact there's more to playing football than just playing the game. A lot of players forget that while you're an athlete, you are also working for a business. You are a businessman working for the most powerful sports conglomerate on the planet. So you have to conduct yourself as not just an athlete, but as a face of the organization. And I think a lot of players missed it out. They get their money, they get their fame.
But that's a learned trait.
It is a learned trait.
It's a learned trait because, Mike, I was with Clyde last night and we were talking about the same exact thing, about how guys nowadays, you know, back in our day, we just wanted to play, get our check, and disappear. But now these guys are involved in the community. They're involved in the business world. Some of these guys are trying to make more money and are making more money off the field than they're making on the field.
Podcasts.
You just understand that, you know, we live in a different age, and for the young guys who really don't get it, having a guy like BG in the locker room to kind of speak to that, because I had a conversation with BG years ago. I'm like, listen, man, while you playing, create these relationships, because during my time, we didn't make ourselves accessible to the business people in the Philadelphia city community. We didn't make ourselves accessible to everything that was available. We just didn't do it. I said, I'm doing it now, you know, but I've been retired 20-something, almost 30 years. But you have the power to do it now while you're a player, while you're hot. Take advantage of all of that stuff, because it means so much more. It means a lot now, but when you retire, it's going to mean even so much more, because people are going to forget you once you retire to a certain extent. It's really all about those players.
We can never forget you guys in Philadelphia.
Listen, BG gonna ball out, man. We talking about the off the field stuff. Yeah, that's great. But Quick don't want to give no credit. BG,
I love BG.
Well, I do.
Yo, he got a lot living in the tank,
I
man.
just love the way the
You act like he said no
the
easy.
story was ending. I like a story like that.
Mike, with that story though, that's one of the things I want to ask you guys. So yes, it was a beautiful story ending. He got the Super Bowl, was able to participate, come back. But what's the story if they go back-to-back this year? What do you guys think their real chances are of going back-to-back and winning the Super Bowl again?
All I know is when he balled out, I'm gonna call you quick, and you better pick up.
Adam,
I want to
Twitter.
see you.
I'm expecting that. So I hope you call me.
What about you guys? Do you
They
guys
got a
really
real-
think they can run it back? Like,
I believe so. They got a real chance. They haven't been playing well. And what's the record?
6-2.
They're 6-2 and haven't played well. So as they continue to gel, right, that offense get going, that you can tell the defense is playing a lot better, right, especially with the insertion of N'Kobe Dean. Defense is playing much better. They made a move and brought in the Phillips kid. That's going to help them. BG's back. That's going to help shore up the run, because BG is a run stopper. You know, we talked about earlier about setting the edge. So I think Howard's making some good moves. Those guys that he bringing in is going to help us, and they're going to continue to gel. And if they're winning now, not playing well, imagine if they get a little bit better, you know?
I think the NFL this year got exactly what they wanted in terms of parity. I think when you look at the NFC and the AFC, you know, this is one of the few years where you can't pinpoint who a dominant team is. When you look at how the games have unfolded and the unexpected turnouts in a lot of ways, I think the person or the team that gets there, number one, consistency, and the Eagles seem to be finding that consistency now. Number two, health. You look at a lot of teams that are being, you know, affected by health to significant players, i.e. Green Bay losing a Tucker Kraft, who's the top tight end in the game right now in terms of yards after the catch, touchdowns, he's gone. And you look across the board at teams that are, you know, Detroit's hurting defensively right now, as they were a year ago. I think the race to the finish line is going to be interesting. Now, I do believe the Eagles already have the NFC East wrapped up. We can say that. Because, you know, Washington's falling apart. The Giants are basically the doormat. And Dallas, we don't know what the heck Dallas is.
Dallas sucks.
Dallas, I don't want to say it. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. But I just think that the parity in the league this year is incredible, and that's what the league wanted.
I feel like there was one thing that Nick Sirianni did at the beginning of the year that I didn't like. He tried to minimize the Super Bowl 59 win in order to get the team to focus on the next season, okay? But I believe that when you're King Kong and you're the king of the hill, you stand up and you beat your chest and you tell everybody, come get me, okay? Because there's a certain amount of confidence that comes from that, okay? And I think, and even though you have some young players that was not present last year for the Super Bowl win, you can gain that enthusiasm and that confidence off of the other players that are on the team because you rely on those guys as leaders to bring them along anyway. I think if they lean into being Super Bowl champions instead of trying to push off of it and say that this is a new year, lean into it. Why not? Why not? Because you were the Super Bowl champions until somebody beat you. Am I correct?
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree, right? I think he has a great feel, great temperature of his team, and what he needs to do to get them ready, right? That Super Bowl is over with, bro. You can't be living in the past.
You don't have to live in the past.
Jalen did the same thing. He talked about, hey, I want to win another one.
Jalen wouldn't even wear his ring.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay? While they struggled, Jordan Mailata came out a couple of weeks ago and said, you know what? You know, we went back, we looked at the Super Bowl. And it was from that point forward that the Eagles started playing better. Okay? I knew I was gonna get somebody. I'm always prepared, Trotter.
That's nothing wrong with looking at.
I'm not saying that they gotta lead. I'm not saying that they gotta come out and say, hey, you know, we the Super Bowl champions, come get us. What I'm saying is you can't just ignore the fact that you are the Super Bowl champions. And that's what Nick Sirianni tried to do.
There's no way they can ignore it because every team that they play, they're going to remind them.
Right.
Every team that they play, they're going to give them their best game because they know that they're going to play against the Super Bowl champions.
100%.
So as bad as Green Bay played last week at Lambeau Field against the Carolina Panthers kicked their butt at Lambeau.
Yeah.
We're going to get their best.
The Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football will get their best, the best that Green Bay, and Green Bay is this helter-skelter type of team anyway. Some days, some quarters, some halves they're really, really good, and the other ones they're real, real bad. But they will play their best football against the Eagles.
I'm just talking about it from a mindset standpoint, okay? Because I'm a firm believer that, you know, the most important element in all of pro sports, in my opinion, is confidence. Because I don't care how talented you are, how big, how fast, how strong, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have confidence, if you don't think that you're the baddest dude on the planet, if you don't have this level of conceit that lives inside of you, it's hard to win. It's hard to be competitive when 1,696 other players in the league are just as talented as you are. So when I'm lined up against a guy, my mindset has to be, I'm gonna beat the brakes off of you, okay? And if you're the Super Bowl champions and you claim the title of Super Bowl champion, what I'm saying is from a psychological standpoint, and you guys know as well as I do, football is more psychological, it's more mental, and it's more confidence based than anything else. Anything else, because everybody else is equal.
Every now and then you have to remind yourself who you are. Every now and then.
Exactly. But
we always say the phrase, you got to have a quick memory in the NFL. You got to forget about the last play. Whether it was good or bad, and move on to the next play. And I think that's the stance he was trying to take, the same stance Jalen Hurts is trying to take. I don't think their struggles had anything to do with them trying to forget about the Super Bowl. We talked about earlier, you got a new coordinator, right? You got some different pieces on the offensive line. And those guys are trying to gel. This is his first time ever calling plays, right? So Jalen had to learn maybe not the whole system, but there's a lot of language that's different, you know? So, and then we talk about Brandon Graham, leadership, bringing him back, that's gonna help, right? But I think moving forward, You know, what they say about the rearview mirror, you can't move forward looking in the rearview mirror.
No, you're 100% correct. But you can't, you know, how do you move forward without remembering?
Guys, we do
Without
have to.
remembering what? Yeah. So in closing, this is my symbol.
Why do you take up all the time?
This is my symbol. Okay.
My yield to D Gunn.
My symbol.
I deal with them every week, man.
So Simba was just in Hakuna Matata fashion, right? Until one day he looked up in the stars and his father told him, "Remember who you are."
Let me just say this in 5 seconds. I believe Sirianni basically said, forget their Super Bowl because of the volume of youth they had coming in on their defense. And you don't want these kids coming back, even the ones that the young kids that won a Super Bowl, struggling stuff. He was trying to teach them about achieving a measure of consistency if you want to do it again.
Dad knows. Look, he pointed. He's like, "Yo."
The man has
Tell him,
one Super Bowl win and another appearance. Why are we questioning his coaching tactics?
Yes.
Because we can. This is Philadelphia. This is what we
That's
do.
what we do.
Hey, because Seth loves to argue.
This is what we do.
So we are going to move into the next section. So raise your hands if you have fan questions, because Mark's going to come around and get them. While he's finding somebody, I do want to get your guys' prediction for Monday night.
Win.
Well, win, but what are we going to see?
Wait, tonight? Wait, what's today?
Today's
Thursday.
Come on, Mike.
Oh, not Thursday night football.
Monday night.
No, Monday night, man.
Did I say it?
You already know.
All right, here's what I'm going to say. Too many people found this out years ago thanks to Michael Barkan downing me out.
Yeah, D Gunn is from Green Bay,
Born-
Wisconsin.
No, Green Bay. Man, I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
See?
I grew up with my dad and my brother bleeding green and gold.
Same thing.
So when people found this out about
Milwaukee,
12,
Green
15
Bay,
years ago,
all the same.
I'm about to throw this mic at you, man.
You the only brother I ever known from
All the same.
What?
Ain't no, you're the only brother from Wisconsin.
I'm representing. So when people found this out about 10, 15 years ago, and they would see me when Green Bay would play the Eagles, it was, D-Gun, who you picking? I know you're from Milwaukee. So I will give you tonight the standard answer that I've given for the last decade. I'm predicting whichever team has green in their uniforms. That's who I predict will win.
Actually, Eagles, I think, are wearing black helmets, black pants,
Yeah,
white
but they still
jerseys.
have green trim in it.
So,
They still have
there you
green.
go. That's a pretty big.
They still have green in the standard colors. Okay, Sam,
Come on,
get me on the hook here.
Big Gun, that's a cop out, man.
Huh?
That's a cop out. How long you been living in Philadelphia?
28, 29
Yeah, this is your home now.
years.
Come on, Big Gun.
Okay, well, guys, real quick for you guys. You're taking Eagles, but give me a score. A rough one.
Delby's all that matters. I don't care.
Wait a minute, that's a cop out.
You know, in consideration of, you know, how the Eagles have been trending and the players that they're getting back, the Eagles win this game in a handy fashion. They have the Green Bay Packers number. I don't care how good Green Bay has looked this year. They beat them in the playoffs last year, and he beat them in week 1 last year.
It's supposed to be 19 degrees there, though. So,
Hey, listen, man, get
It's
your
already
mind right.
19 degrees for everybody.
Get your mama underwear.
yeah, but they live there, so it's a big.
Bring your
They
get
don't
your
live
mama
outside.
underwear.
It's a big cop.
They don't live outside.
Hey, it's all fun and games if somebody hit you in the mouth.
You know, I'm going to go with what Mike Quick said a little bit ago. Green Bay plays well in quarters or halves. Go back a couple of weeks. They went into Pittsburgh.
Oh, they crushed Pittsburgh.
And they crushed Pitt. They dissected Pittsburgh's defense like I haven't seen an offense do in that second half. The same Pittsburgh defense just a few days ago took apart Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts are the best team in football up to this point. So you just never know
Yeah.
week to week what this
I will
is.
say-
30 to 21, Seth.
I like it. The Eagles are a perfect 4-0 after the bye with Nick Sirianni and cover the spread in all 4 games. So, fun little tidbit for you guys. Okay, Mark, who do you have?
All right, thank you, Sam. Let's give a round of applause for Sam with that first section. Come on, let's make some noise in here. All right, there we go. Now we're talking. All right, thank you. Like Sam said, we're gonna have fan Q&A. If you got any questions, you're gonna put your hand up, ask any of the panelists there. We also have some online questions I'm gonna get to as well. So we got my man Dennis here. Dennis is gonna ask our first question. Who's it for? Let's ask away.
All of them. You said something about Jalen Brown, A.J. Brown and Hurts, about the frictions. I don't believe it's a friction. I think it's the offensive coordinator calling the plays. Because A.J. Brown is a good receiver. He misses some, he catches some good ones. It seems like when they need it, he's there.
So what do you guys think of that? Do you put any blame on Kevin Patullo for the issue so far?
Not all of it.
Just some, for anyone. You left him stumped. It's a good job.
We're not watching.
No. No. Simple.
You don't think it's none of it his fault?
No, because Kevin Patullo ain't throwing one pass. He can call whatever pass play he wants to. Jalen's got to read it and throw it to the receiver that he thinks is open. So
Correct.
that doesn't fall on Kevin. That falls on Jalen.
So you saying the person that game plans
Go ahead.
every week,
Yeah.
calling all the plays, has zero fault in what happens with offense. That's what you're saying.
I didn't
Is
say
that
that.
what we're saying?
I didn't say that. I said that the friction that's happening between the quarterback and the wide receiver is not the offensive coordinator's fault.
No, that's not.
So I can give you a classic case in point, and Quick will know the play that I'm talking about. Okay, I forget what game it was.
I already know where
against the Giants.
It was the Giants.
Okay?
It was a pick. It was an interception.
Jalen throws the interception. A.J. Brown is wide open. You know, I have it on good authority that they ran that same play in practice, and Jalen threw the ball to A.J. Brown for a touchdown. Okay, you gonna put that on Kevin Patullo?
Plus, we don't know what percentage the quarterback calls audibles at the line of scrimmage. Makes the adjustments at the line of scrimmage, whether it's to AJ's side of the field or not, for that matter. Mike might know, but Mike might not tell us.
Yeah, I'm just here like you.
What's the next question?
Okay,
All right,
guys,
Sam.
I'm here with Sean. Sean, go ahead.
Hey guys, we have a great quarterback, great wide receivers, best running back, good tight end. But when I watch other games, I see their offense seems more fluid. It's fast, it's exciting. We seem clunky and slow at times. Why do you think that is?
Still trying to figure it out. And then the other teams, they get paid a lot of money to try and stop you from doing what you do, but I just believe that, especially now, the way the league is run and the way training camps are run, you go into the regular season and you really don't know what you have. You don't know who you are. This team really ran the ball well last year. They were the best in the league at running the football. Coming into this season, each season has its own identity, has its own character. So you don't know who you are. I think around week 5, you start to figure out who you are. And so things should get better as we look forward.
We talked about earlier, new coordinator, different pieces on offense, on the line, whatever. Now, we always say that division games, records don't matter, right? Y'all agree with that? Well, when you win the Super Bowl, records don't matter. They're judging their team off of you every week. So every week you're gonna get every team's best. So I think that, like you just said, that has a lot to do with it.
All right, awesome. Let's keep the fan Q&A. I got my man Brian over here. Brian, what's your question?
This is for Trot. How's it feel watching your son in the NFL with the Eagles?
Great question.
Great question.
Y'all see the smile, don't you? Just super proud, man. Super proud. You know, as a dad, you was there when he first put on the cleats, and I remember when I went to sign him up. He was sitting in the back of the truck. He was 5 at the time, just smiling from ear to ear. He said, "Dad, I'm gonna tackle everybody." We wasn't even going to practice. We was just going to sign him up, you know. And so when I see him out there, I know you guys see the Trotter on the back, but I always see the little kid sitting in the back of the truck, smiling from ear to ear, saying, "Dad, I'm gonna tackle everybody."
All right, we got same way, so welcome. We got one over here. What's your name, man, and what's your question?
My name is Jordan. With all the media attention that Tush Push is getting, how do you feel about that play? And do you feel they should stay in the league?
I hope one game they come out and run it every single play all the way down the field. Just to rub it in people's faces, man. You know, whenever they get in anything in short, everybody know what's coming. I love it, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love seeing the frustration on the other team, the coaches on the side like, oh,
Try that they're gonna do it. They might need to hurry up and do it because I'm not so sure it's gonna survive this year. I love it. Some of the same people that's been crying about it, coaching-wise, are doing the same thing.
They trying to do it.
No, well, I mean, you look at Buffalo, they're doing the same exact thing. Sean McDermott was the one that, started all the nonsense last year about trying to get rid of it. They talk about not being able to officiate it. Like, come on. Like, you stand there, you looking down the line, you see what the line of scrimmage is, you understand where the neutral zone is. If somebody's lined up in the neutral zone, throw the damn flag. If somebody jumped too early, throw the damn flag. And they've already proven that it's not a health issue because nobody's ever been hurt during the tush push. Now, I'm waiting for somebody to start taking a couple of dives and saying, oh, we got a couple of guys that got hurt. Now let's go back in the off season and revisit and talk about getting rid of it.
They're not going to have to do the dive thing because they're going to get rid of it because too many teams are crying because they can't stop it. They go to the line of, listen, when Jordan Mailata goes to the line of scrimmage, he'll tell them, or he'll say, what's coming, and they know what's coming, and they can't do a dang thing about it.
I love it.
Can't stop it. I love it.
I love it.
It's fun.
All
But
right.
yeah, they're gonna take that play away from us.
All right, so like I said, we got some fan questions online. You guys are so popular. The people sent in the questions, and they got some good ones. Again, if anyone in the audience wants to ask some, please put your hand up. But we have some online questions. This one is for Mike Quick. We talked a lot about A.J. Brown tonight, but what are your thoughts on Devontae Smith, especially him as a pass catcher and a route runner? What do you think of his route, and can he be a #1 wide receiver eventually in the NFL, if he isn't already?
He is a #1 receiver in the National Football League. He is one of my favorite people to watch play the position that I love. He is one of the best tacticians I've ever seen. Like, his route running is as good as anyone in the National Football League. His hands are as good or superior to almost anyone you see play the position. I love the kid. The kid probably weighs 170 pounds, but no one has a bigger heart than that kid. He reminds me, I've described him like Allen Iverson. You remember how Iverson, didn't matter if it's a 7-foot guy trying to guard the rim, AI would take him on. That kid is very similar in that he fears nothing. And it scares me because I don't want to see him break, because I'm just worried that somebody's going to hit him too hard, he's going to break. But he is one of my favorite people to watch in the National Football League. I love the kid.
I love that. I love that. All right, this one was from Instagram. This is going to be for all four of you guys. We can start with Derrick. For the 3 players, and then for Gunn, when you were covering game, what was a game day superstition you guys had? Something you have to do, and for Gunn again, when you were covering a game, or when you are covering a game, what's something you have to do before covering? We can go down the line, starting with Gunn. Game day superstition.
I never looked at it as a superstition, but when I was getting ready to go to a game, I always had a checklist. And I always wanted to make sure, okay, notepad, laptop, and I would double IFB because I'd have to go live before and after games, IFB. So I would just have a checklist of things that I wouldn't leave home or a hotel room without double and triple checking. But, it's interesting you said that because maybe it was a superstition, but I never looked at it like that.
Well, I never had a superstition. I had a process. So from the time I walk in the locker room, I have my Walkman on. That can tell you how old I am. I have my Walkman on. I had a specific.
What's a Walkman?
Don't act like you don't know what a Walkman is. You older than me. So I come in the locker room. I got my music on. I'm not talking to anybody once I hit the locker room. I had a process how I laid my clothes out. The socks, the pants with the pads in, the shoulder pads with the jersey halfway over, and I'm in my locker just zoning in. Once I hit that locker room on game day, there's not a whole lot of conversation going on, and really the only person that would ever come talk to me would be a coach. If they come over, we're gonna make an adjustment here, do this, do that. But everybody else in the locker room knew, don't even talk to him, don't even look his way.
Trot?
No.
No. I never had a superstition, but there was just a ritual. When I would get dressed, I would always, and it started back in college, when I come out of the locker room for the pre-warm-up stuff, I would always trot, prance around the perimeter of the field. And for me, being a dog, I was marking my territory.
You showing off. That's what you was doing.
I marked my territory.
You had the shirt off too?
Come on, man.
You ran around with a shirt off, man. Come on, man.
No, but I always felt like, okay, this is mine today. Let me mark my territory. You get out here, you're gonna get your medicine. That's what I did.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so we have one more question from online.
Hold on a second. Come on, Trot. You had something.
Yeah, what do you got,
I
Trot?
had something.
You had something, man.
You asked about something.
You drink coffee. I mean,
Just something that you did every game day. It doesn't have to be a superstition. Just something you did.
You only ate bacon on game day. Something, man.
I put on my helmet and shoulder pads, and I went out to hit somebody in the mouth. That's it.
I love it, I love it.
If that's a superstition, if that's a ritual, then that's it.
All right.
Give me some cleats, give me a helmet and shoulder pad. That's all I ain't need no sweet towel. I ain't need all that. I didn't go out before the game. When they saw me, I was on the other side of the line of scrimmage. That's it.
You didn't practice your action?
Hey, I chopped wood my whole life growing up. I ain't need no practice. I practiced since I was 5.
Okay, guys, so now we're doing giveaways. We will be choosing a raffle when they get it ready. I'm going to have you guys choose each individual one. While we wait, so the regular season line is set at the Eagles to win over or under 11.5 games. They've already won 6. They'd have to go 6-3 the rest of the season. Do you think that they hit the over or the under?
I'm taking the over.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. I mean,
It's a
Washington.
hard schedule, though. That's what
Yeah,
gets it.
but Washington shot now.
No, it's not.
Very true.
Huh?
She said
Yeah,
hard schedule.
you know,
No, it's not.
we saw Green Bay and Detroit lose on the same day. Both at home, on the same day.
Cowboys buzzing me.
Cowboys,
They buzzing me.
you know what?
Y'all know what buzzing me is?
Roadkill.
You know, it's funny. The Cowboys or the Cowgirls were averaging 41 points a game at home, but they let Arizona hold them to 17 on primetime football. So I never had respect for the Cowboys before, even less than. So yeah, I take definitely the over.
The Cowboys always score points when the game
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know why?
What?
Dallas sucks.
Sam, I say the over. I picked them at the beginning of the year. I said they would win 13 games. People thought I was crazy. I just feel like, I felt like 13 or 14, 12, they would need 12 to win the division, 13 or 14 in order to take the conference, the number 1 seed. So I'm going to stick with 13 and say, yeah, they'll hit the over.
I like it. Everybody's going the over.
Where do I place that bet, Sam?
Right at the kiosk behind you, if you want.
Okay.
Where the Bet Park's at.
Or the Bet Park's
Your
at.
odds are not that good right now, man. You should put your bet at the beginning of the year like I did.
I did.
Okay, guys, so we are going to be raffling it off. We have 3 signed footballs by these panelists. Okay, so I'll read off of what we're doing. So we have 3 signed footballs by the panelists. We have 2 signed Eagles helmets by these panelists. We have 2 Eagles tickets to the Washington game on January 4th. And then we have a signed and framed Saquon Barkley jersey. So we're going to be doing it from what I first said up until that jersey. Okay, so Tamara's coming up. Oh, okay. Mike, you're going to choose the first one. 3, 2. That's the enthusiasm we need. That's right.
Congratulations.
Jersey and everything. Okay, this one is for the Eagles tickets to the Washington game on January 4th. 702188. Right here! Woo! I don't know if you have to come up for that one. Maybe give you your information. Okay, yeah. Come up here. Okay, and then this is the last one, the framed, signed Saquon Barkley jersey. Thank you, D-Gun. VIP, you guys will be going first, so you guys will head to the front of the line. And then everybody else get in line and we'll take pictures on your phone with all these legends.
Thank you. Go Birds! Again, thank you so much for coming. Head on over and get in line for your picture with the panelists. Yeah, play the